Today we are going to start with this Granny Square bag. I used the Pioneer Woman acrylic yarn. So we are going to make our Granny Square. We are using the size 8 hook. And I have pulled the yarn out. The first thing we're going to do is our slip knot. And I like to not do the magic ring, but what I do is I chain 3, and then I go into the very first stitch I made, and I just do a slip stitch. So I have a little ring here, and to hide this tail, I kind of hold it against the ring. I'm going to chain 2 because we're doing double crochet, and then I go into the middle of my ring to do a double crochet. And the double crochet is you wrap, you go through the hole, pull back through, go through 2, go through 2. So I've got my starter piece and 2. So we want for this Granny Square to start off with 4 of these to make the bottom. And in between, I chain 1, and then I'm going to do 3 double crochets. Now I can just let go of this tail because I'll be able to cut it, and it's wrapped nicely in between here. So I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to chain 1. This is like a corner for the next row. I'm going to do another one. Okay, chain 1. I need 1 more. Okay, and then I chain 1, and I go into the top of that first stitch I had made, and it makes kind of a little square, which is going to be the center of a Granny Square. Now, the way I do my Granny Squares is I cut it after each row, because I could keep going. It just doesn't look as neat. So what I did is I went through and I cut the colors of my yarn. And then I can kind of look at it and say, gosh, the red isn't very long. This is used, so this is kind of a leftover. Or this white's pretty long. So when I do a square, I would say, oh, I probably have enough for red. My next row, I need a little bit more. Maybe I could do this color. This has a lot. I could save this for the end, and this one I could do in the middle. So when I made my bag, that's what I did. I had cut the yarn so I could decide what I was going to do with these squares. Now for this bag, I did the same thing. I'm like, oh, I did this many with white in the center. Okay, so what I would do for this, okay, just pull it out, cut it. These are left-handed sewing scissors. Okay, I would go to my next color. So here I am And I'm like, all right, here's my pink, here's my pink, here's my pink. And you can see, look at all these colors. I just keep going until I get to the end. And then I cut this. So I've got this much. I could do another center with this. So then I would pick my next color. Okay, and this is how I add it. Let's make sure this is going to come in good. I just wound this in on my fingers. So I'm going to do a slip knot. And then I'm going to do a corner. Now the corners would be like half. You're doing 2 3s with a chain 1. So what I do is I just kind of slip stitch it on here. Again, I'm going to take this tail and lay it along the side so it gets kind of hidden. I'm going to chain 2 and I'm going to double crochet 2. When I come back around, I'll attach here. I'll finish this corner. So then I go over here. I don't chain anything in between because I don't like big holes. So then I'm going to do this corner. I'm going to do 3 double crochets, chain 1. Three double crochets. Now this was where I cut off. I want to hide that. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, there's the hole. And I'm just going to kind of lay this here so I can crochet it in so I'll be able to cut it off and it won't unravel or anything. So I do 3 here, chain 1, and look on the back, it's just hidden under here. I'll be able to cut that off later. So I chained 1, I'm going to finish this corner with 3 double crochets, and then I go the next corner. Okay, now look, I don't like how big that is. Pulling this out. No, I just didn't like the way that looked. Okay, so we're going to do 3 double crochets. Chain 1, 3 double crochets. Okay, now we're back to where we started. To finish this corner, what do we need? 3 double crochets and a chain 1. So we just go here. 3, 1, 2, 3. Chain 1. We're going to go in the top of where we started. We're going to slip stitch. I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to cut it off because that's how I like it to look so neat. Okay. Look at how neat that looks. Isn't that nice? So then we're going to do that. Center. This is the one we just did. 3, 4. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds to make a square. Now for this purse, you need 15. So what I did is I went through and I cut my yarn, like I said, into these. And then I looked at it and I said, okay, These all have a red center. And then I kind of looked at my piles, and they're all different. It just depended on what I had. So those had red centers. Then these all had white. Okay, these two were the same. These two were the same. These two were the same. So obviously the ones I just showed you, I did with leftovers. Let's see. And then these had the rose colored. These two were the same. And these three. So what you're going to do, your homework is make 15 of these, and on the next video, we'll sew them together.